Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. Our conversation continues this morning post-budget. And joining us is no stranger to the show, Curtis Williams, who is the chairman of the Tobago chapter of the, or Tobago division rather, of the Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, Mr. Williams, and welcome.
Good morning to the TTT team, and it's a pleasure having me here. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you back with us on the show. Let's go straight into the discussion. What are your initial thoughts on the budget allocation for Tobago?
Well, it was a lengthy one, and what I gather from the entire package, I see a bittersweet moment. The part that is bitter is that we asked for funding to offset some of the expenses that the THA had, from the oil spill, etc. And we didn't see that forthcoming. But I know the Prime Minister is a good man, and I know he will listen to us, and he will do something coming up because the bills went in for the oil spill, and we can see it's more than $50 million plus. And no one planned for the oil spill, and that did happen. So I'm thinking, yes, the Prime Minister will look at it, and there will be something forthcoming in that. Coming out from the other parts of the statement, I'm pleased to see that the game changer is here. The new terminal building is on stream. It's 80% completed. I'm seeing the new airlift coming into the space. Natasha, this is excitement for us on the island. We've seen a light at the end of the tunnel. We've seen that new thing happening in the space with the advent of the hotels coming on stream. I mean, the 5-star hotel is coming somewhere in Buku. Natasha, this is excitement for the island. This is excitement for the business community and the people here in Tobago to start to put your ducks in order. Don't wait. Start at this moment to start putting your ducks in order. All who are looking for education within the hospitality sector, start pushing yourself up to your degree, up to your skill set. Let's look for chefs. Let's look for front office staff. The taxi drivers, start upgrading your vehicles. The agriculturists, start planting, start looking for space that you could expand on your garden. The fisher folk, upgrade your engines, upgrade your boats. There definitely going to be some excitement coming in 2025 and going forward. So we see something happening, Natasha.
Now, I can hear the positivity in your voice as you just mentioned some of the major projects that were focused on during the budget presentation yesterday. Now, in your view, the conversation on the investment in the yachting industry with the marina, speaking about the Magdalena Grand, do you see this as having a positive impact on business in the future? And in addition to what you just would have mentioned when it comes to the preparations, what are your thoughts on whether it's sufficient? And are we ready?
Well, yeah, definitely. These big ticketed projects is definitely coming on stream, and we in Tobago now have to put ourselves in order. The yachting industry is a unique type. We never had that here in Tobago, and I know there will be need for a skill set. So there will be need for different skill sets. So we have to put ourselves in a position to gain these skill set and to develop that. And this definitely going to be a real changer for us here in Tobago. The ripple effect, Natasha, the ripple effect of all these industries coming down. We're talking about there will be more spending. There will be places for accommodation. There will be people looking for a transport. There will be a ripple effect coming out from just having a 300-room or 400-room hotel brand new on the island. The demand for food and beverage, the demand for transport, the demand for accommodation for the staff. And I know Tobagonians might not be able to fill all these positions. So then we will have some folks that will be coming from Trinidad and overseas to assist in the process. But Natasha, this is what we want. We want more people in Tobago. We want more commerce. And we want, with that activity, now we will have a lot of funds moving around from point A to point B. And that's a good signal. It's a very good signal.
It is an excellent signal indeed. Now, let's go to the numbers when it comes to recurrent expenditure. The figures that were shared, the allocation includes $2.376 billion. How do you see this impacting business development overall for Tobago?
Well, definitely, we saw the development of $205 million, and we know, Natasha, that can't do much for us in terms of development. And I know the THA will have to go back to the drawing board and do some configuration with the recurrent of 2.3 million. They may have to cut and put priorities where priority ought to be. And I think they need to go to the people and see what the people want in terms of priority and put those priority projects forward moving ahead. It's nothing nothing much you can do. You already have a cut, only 205 you have. So we now have to go back to the people, set what the priorities will be, and we move ahead with that. In the meantime, don't stop lobbying. Lobby for the monies that, because you have debt to pay, you have debt that you inherit. So continue lobbying for the debt you inherit. Continue lobbying for all the debt that you have from the oil spill. Continue lobbying for all the funds that you needed that you didn't get, but don't lose focus and worrying about a number. Let's look at the island holistically. Let's look at the people, and let's see how we could develop Tobago, moving away from the THA, moving into that strong private sector that we're trying to build at this present moment.
Now, in light of that, Mr. Williams, what sectors would you say should get immediate attention post-budget?
Well, we're looking at the tourism sector. We definitely have to go into the tourism sector with a big pinch of looking across to agriculture. It's important that we have the agriculture sector being somewhere in chime with what's going on in the tourism, because tourists need to eat, right? And so we need to develop that area. We have a lot of lands that the THA owns, and you can start to look and develop your farmers on site and get them into some state of readiness so that they can start to prepare these lands, moving ahead, knowing that there will be a demand for agriculture crops. There will be a demand for the fisher folks. So let's look at the fishing centers and them and the guides. And so bring all the players into the room, and now we will have meaningful conversation. Natasha, is not old talk. We're done with old talk now. We're ready for business. Let's get down to meaningful conversation. Speaking with the fisher folk, speaking with the Fish Association, speaking with the farmers, speaking to the Farmers Association and the business community. Let's get down to meaningful conversations with the THA.
Now, as you mentioned, of course, all of these different sectors. Let's go to the private sector particularly. How do you think after this budget we are going to be able to propel that growth in collaboration with the THA?
Well, from since last night, I see some of my contractors, friends of them is getting excited. They say, boy, I don't want to look for some new trucks and probably excavators. I'm probably going to get some business coming forward. So even if you don't get the direct contract from the supplier or from the person who's doing the project, you will have that subcontract that you may have, and that will that would give you a little bit of boost to some of the smaller contractors on site in Tobago. So we know the smaller guys and them, the smaller contracts, your capacity will be built, and there you'll be able to move to the next level. We ask the bankers, be on standby. Don't be selfish. Be on standby. The island is going to a boom. The island is going to something excitement. So we're asking you to open up your arms, open up and welcome us, and understand the unique situation in Tobago. The funding is important. So we need the financial institutions, the bankers, the credit union, to be on the side of the private sector, the businessmen going forward, because they will need additional funding to move some of the equipment and to purchase some of the other things that they may need it to move this sector getting.
Now, as you mentioned funding, let's speak about the budget allocation and how it may or may not affect SMEs in Tobago.
Well, definitely. We see the SMEs. We have been crying for US. We have been crying for other aspects of moving forward from it. But I know with the ripple effect, the trickle down effect, the SMEs will benefit. In the long term, the SMEs will benefit from the triple effect coming down from the sector. We know once construction starts on the island, there's going to be an increase in manpower. There's going to be increasing commerce coming on the island. But let's be careful, not knowing that development brings another thing. And no one mentioned it, it brings crime. So we have to get our law enforcement folks on board, knowing that development do bring things with it. And so we have to be prepared for it, and not only thinking about all the great things that's happening and everyone is making some money, but there will be that element of crime coming, and we have to be prepared for such.
Definitely cause for consideration, of course, as we see the situation in Tobago, and with more investment, you will see that rise, as you would have mentioned. Now, let's speak about infrastructure. One of the things that also has been focused on is the fact that there are going to be numerous roads paved over the next year or so. How is Tobago? Well, I mean, I know Tobago is ready for that, of course, but do you see that again as positively impacting business? And is it necessary at this point in time for the overall development?
Definitely, we see presently our roads they're definitely in a terrible state. The Claude Noel Highway, it really needs some remilling and resurfacing. We saw definitely the new roundabout and that connector road that was going to lead to the new airport. And that's going to be a bit of ease in the traffic that going down to the western side of the island. We also need to take a peep at the eastern side of the island where we take all the tourists and take them on tours. There are some bridges and some landslips that really need to take care of on that side of the island. So we welcome the paving and the infrastructure that will be very much needed. And we ask the government to look at the funding for that project and push forward that funding because that is very much needed on island, definitely.
Mr. Williams, was there anything in the budget read yesterday that you felt was missed that should have been included?
I think, well, beside the additional funding that we were asking for, I want to applaud the minister for looking at the VAT situations because a lot of us had VAT refund and then he decided to give us bonds. And the smaller ones like ourselves, he decided to give us cash. That was breathtaking. I really, really appreciate that. I also look at the fact that that he's looking at giving us some replacement of water mains and moving into that direction, Natasha. That is one of the gifts that I really want to say thanks for that because that was important that we have all these VAT owing and we want to see how best we could offset them. The tax amnesty is great. The revenue authority is coming on board. The tax amnesty will really give some of the small business an opportunity to start to be in compliance. I know a lot of us on island have not been in compliance, especially with NIS. Most of us were crippled in terms of cash flow. So this will give us an opportunity to clear the backlog, get our books in order so that we could go up on the OPR and we could be in a position where we could tender for government projects. And I think that's a good signal. The tax amnesty, we'll take full advantage of it with the taxes. And I'm asking all our business colleagues, please come on board, get in compliance before the revenue authority comes, because it's important that we all stay in compliance moving forward. So we did appreciate that a lot.
Positive feedback all around. So, Mr. Williams, what is your outlook on Tobago now, the economic future in the next few decades? How are you feeling about it and what do you foresee?
Natasha, I see a light at the end of the tunnel. I see all the fight, all the argues, all the interviews we have done this year, and I'm seeing something positive coming for Tobago in 2025. And I want to let us keep faith. We're going into the Tobago Carnival. It's going to be an epic opportunity in October. We actually started October today. It's just going to be a bit of excitement. And I want all of you all across in Trinidad come across to Tobago for October Carnival. It's going to be a real great time. Let's start this whole season and get a real refresh on business. Let's see how best we can start pushing it straight into the December, into the Christmas holidays. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the visitors and friends come across to the October Carnival. It's going to be a real great moment. The hotels, the villas are sold out. I'm getting 90% coming from the villas. The hotels, some of the hotels are definitely 75. There one hotel tell me they're fully booked. So there are smaller properties that definitely can take on, and some of the larger ones could take on additional bookings. So guys, come across, enjoy the carnival. It's going to be safe, 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 safe. This was assured to me by the police. We're going to have the safest carnival we ever had in Tobago. So I'm open. My hands are welcoming everyone. I'm excited for the carnival coming up as well.
Mr. Williams, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know that you're going to have a great time at Tobago Carnival as well, and we're going to be checking in with you to see how the developments in Tobago are going. Have an excellent day.
And thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for giving us the opportunity. And you have a good morning as well. Thank you.
Thank you. It is our pleasure. Curtis William joining us this morning, Chairman of the Tobago Division of Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce. Stay tuned. Your birthdays are coming up after this break.